and welcome to another episode of Rift News. The show that... I actually don't have a joke. Just play the latest trend. In case you didn't know, in celebration of the Odyssey Extraction game mode, Riot worked together with content creators from all around the world and gave them some codes for the Odyssey Sona Emote. Luckily, we also managed to get some codes, which we will give away pretty soon. Although we don't have too many of them, so we will have to be picky about it. But keep an eye on our social media for those. Especially keep an eye on our Twitter. It's the best place to do giveaways. But we will also drop some in our videos here. And of course, the rest will go out through our Twitch streams. But now, let's have a look at PvE that's been on fire lately. First of all, we got a couple of new skins. And one of those skins went a little bit out of hand. The first skin is Hextech Malzahar, which looks amazing. But eventually you'll load into the game. Then it becomes kinda okay, I guess. To be fair, his spell animations are pretty cool if you bypass his non-deviant face.
Wake up, Lieutenant!
More importantly, if you watched our debate when Hextech Poppy was revealed, you'd know he was coming. In her splash art, Poppy was teasing one of Malzahar's voidlings. Of course, as all the other Hextech skins, this one will also be a gemstone exclusive skin. The other new skin is Championship Kha'Zix. Before we go deeper into this, I quickly want to clarify that this is not the skin you get for being a decent rank at the end of the year. That would be the Victorious line. This is the skin you have to pay monies for. And oh boy will you pay monies if you want everything this skin brings. Because this new Championship Kha'Zix has 29 Chroma skins. One of them is the typical gold variation you get for completing missions, we can assume. But the remaining 28 are actually the team colors of all qualified World Championship teams. At this point, it is not 100% confirmed how you can get those chromas, but my guess would be that you buy them with RP and a portion of that money will go to the team. As a bonus, the team logo appears during loading screen when you use the team's chroma. Honestly, this is not a bad way to support the teams, if the money actually splits between Riot and the team. If it doesn't, if it is just Riot, this is a little bit sketchy. But that's not all. If you like chroma skins, Riot also prepared gold variations for all the championship skins that didn't have one before. This includes Riven, and no original 2014 Riven owners, you don't have to be scared. Even though it shows the classic version with the crown, there are actually two separate gold chromas for the old and the new Riven version. Just like the other chromas, we don't know how you can get these yet. But all the other gold versions were always a reward for championship tokens, the thing you get from missions during Worlds. And speaking of tokens, you can also get them from Worlds 2018 orbs. I understand if you are also not as excited. All the new Hextech crafting orbs are quite disappointing. There is usually no exclusive drop and they don't even have an animation when you open them. It's just not as satisfying as it used to be. So instead, save your RP for the new championship ward that comes in with a championship emote. That hopefully should be a mission reward too. Wait, never mind. There is actually a separate emote for that. So these will likely be bundled into something for RP. And if you thought League needed more gold, yes, the ward and the emote also have gold variations. Besides these endless gold customizations, Surrender at 20 also found some icons. The Poro icons will likely be for getting points in our favorite championship guessing game, where we randomly pick teams that we think will win. Because, let's be real, when did teams actually play according to expectations? But at the top you can notice a chibi Ashe icon. This one has the merch logo in its corner, same as last year's Wukong. So this confirms that the next figure up on the merch store will be Championship Ashe. Besides all of this championship stuff, Riot also got into some spell effects on older champions. This is a good way to bring some older models to life without doing a full visual rework. Veigar was turned into a proper black mage. You can notice that his spells resemble the Dark Star series. That's because all of his ability names are references to astronomical events. To note is his ultimate. It will now grow depending on how much AP you have. Lee Sin's update isn't as obvious. He mostly just got better textures with the same effects. But everything looks more fire-like to reflect his lore. Although I still wish his ultimate had the appearance of a fire dragon to really nail it. Jarmons' update is very similar. Everything looks pretty much the same. It is just smoother and up to par with other champions. The last updated champion is Vi. Just like the others, everything looks just a little bit smoother. When it comes to live servers, Odyssey is still up, but it will retire on the 8th of October. Also, keep in mind that the bundles will retire sooner. In fact, you only have one more day to get the bundles or Odyssey Zix. Yes, Odyssey Zix is actually a legacy skin. You will not be able to get him until the next Odyssey event update. Or if it doesn't come in any other event, I guess. The rest of the skins should be fine though. Also, if you kept any tokens, you have time till the 22nd of October to spend them. Before we get on to Nexus, it is worth mentioning that skin spotlights might discontinue their camera tool after the patch 8.20 or 8.21. This would be a big deal to the creator community since pretty much all editors rely on this tool. If you have ever seen a leak edit where the camera flies around for cool cinematic effects, it was always because of this guy. Even when I need 3D models for the stories, I use the camera tool. Let's just hope that Riot can figure something out this time. Otherwise, this could be the doom of a lot of creators. Thankfully on this channel we still have Chibin in case everything blows up. But now let's get on to Nexus. This time we have 3 important posts. The first post is about the new league ranks in 2019. You may already know about this because Riot also released a short video explaining what's happening. Basically, Riot is adding more separate tiers to the ranked ladder. The reason for this is because the skill gap between the bottom and the top of a tier isn't always the same. In Gold, the difference between being Gold 5 and Gold 1 isn't that big. That's why Gold players have tendencies to drop or rise multiple ranks in relatively short time. In Diamond, being Diamond 5 is a massive success. You're in the top 2% of all players. This means that theoretically only 2 players in 100 are Diamond or higher. But from here on, every rank feels like its own tier. And by the time you get to Diamond 1, you're in the 0.07% of all players. And that is a massive skill gap. So to make the rank transition smoother, Riot decided to add in 2 new tiers. This will flatten the players over a wider array of tiers. Below Bronze there will now be a new tier called Iron. This is because the difference between Bronze 5 and Bronze 1 is actually incredibly large. And sometimes funny. So now the lowest of the low players will have their own place. Also, people are wondering why is Iron below Bronze. That's because Bronze is actually more expensive. And as we mentioned, high up around Diamond the same problems appear. So there will be a new tier above Master and below Challenger called Grandmaster. So overall, theoretically, because there are more ranks to spread around, if you are below average, which I believe is around Gold 4, you might drop a couple of ranks. But if you are Gold 3 and higher, you might actually rise up a bit so the high players can fill the new tiers. Also, because this would be a long grind, there will now be only 4 ranks in each tier instead of 5. Last note is that the visuals will slightly change to represent existing locations in Runeterra. Hopefully this will also reflect on loading screen borders. From the sketches, it seems like Iron will be a normal Iron panel, Bronze resembles some basic machinery, Silver is Zone, Gold is Shurima, Platinum feels like Ionia, Diamond resembles Hextech from Piltover, Master tier is the Void, Grandmaster Nexus, and Challenger is Targon. The second post on Nexus is about Odyssey. This entire page explains how a PvE mode is created when it comes to League, and it is a really interesting read. But the funnier part is what I'm going to show you now. Besides the loading screen that was used for 80% of its development. It is all the clips of Rioters testing augments. Again, if you'd like to read the post, the link to Nexus will be below. And now on to Ask Riot. This time we have 4 very short questions, so let's get on it. Does Riot take Bronze into consideration for balance? This one was answered by Meddler. The short answer would be yes, they consider all tiers. But the starting point for balance is Platinum and higher in solo queue. There are some champions like Master Yi who's amazing in Bronze but is not as good in higher MMRs. Or Ryze, who is great in pro play but bad in Bronze. But unless it is something game breaking, in general every champion should be playable for everyone. Dear Riot, as a glad main, will we ever get a new skin? Short answer by Supercakes: yes, we are working on one now. It should be out by the end of the year. And so should a new skin for Camille. What are some of the code names you used for champions while they were in development? Like how Tahm Kench was Fish Tank. Riot Reef provided us with a list of names. You might recognize some, like Aurelian Soul being Ao Shin, or Jin being Deadeye. But it is interesting that Echo was Time Assassin, Azir was Sand Mage, and Vel'Koz was Professor Eyebeam. The last question: why is the Void purple? Answered by Skethloke. From a lore perspective, the Void itself, that vast and unknowable realm that hungers to end all existence, is not actually any color at all. It's the complete absence of light, heat, gravity, time, or any other trappings of the material plane. When rifts or portals open into Runeterra, I imagine there is some pretty scary physics-bending stuff going on around it, which also probably disturbs and upsets the balance of natural magic too. It could well appear purple to mortals who are unlucky enough to witness it. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see some colors that didn't even have names mixed in there as well. From a design and art perspective, purple can be seen very clearly against green, making it a great contrast color for when you need something to look unnatural on Summoner's Rift. At an unconscious level, that's probably the most effective visual shorthand for unspeakable horrors from beyond. And that is it for this episode of Rift News. Hey, did you know that we have social media and Twitch where we talk about other League facts and stories? And did you know that we have neat mugs and shirts too? The links to all of that will be below. And as always, thank you, come again.